Hey, hey, happy Sunday. Welcome to Hobby Evolution Brunch Edition. That's not my first sip of the morning. It shouldn't be at 9:15. Holy moly. I just decided to lay in bed, sleep in. It's Sunday. I've got my winter card show uniform on. Dan's Korean cardboard hoodie, my SGC hat. I was just kind of lazy Sunday. Lazy Sunday is what it's going to be here for the next couple. Actually, it's not going to be a lazy Sunday because I'll do this video and then I'll ship for a couple hours and then I'll ride my bike. So it's not going to be a lazy Sunday whatsoever. But I am going to get out of the house, go for a bike ride today. Last night I just gave it all up. All the cards, gave it all up. And what I mean by that, I didn't literally give all the cards up. I just gave up my work for the evening, grabbed a sixer of Blue Moon, and retired to the patio. And we grilled some burgers, and I had the hip hop barbecue Pandora station on. If you're my age and you enjoy that music of the '90s, the hip hop, the Snoop Doggy Dogg, and Dr. Dre, and Regulator, Warren G. So had the hip hop barbecue on. I have a speaker that I think I had like reward points or something from US Cellular that you could buy when you bought a new phone. You got like a certain amount of coupons or whatever to use on accessories, and I had like $100. Like you could, and it's like, what in the hell accessories do I need for $100? And so I think I used most of it on like the monster case. What do they call those cases? Whatever the cases are for the phone. Spend most of it on that. And then I had like $40 left. And it's like, what do I need accessory wise? So I looked at speakers, like Bluetooth speakers. And I'm like, hey, cool. And it's just like a little pot. It actually kind of looks like one of the mini Alexas. So I bought one of those. And I used it, and shoot, I've had it for like 6 years now. And I used it a couple times when I first, got it. And then it's been sitting in like a junk drawer for 5 years. And I actually looked for it a week or two ago because I listen when I go on bike rides. I have Pandora or some music playing, and I have like a clamp on my bike where I put my phone. And but the speakers, the phone speakers aren't, especially when you're riding a bike and if it might be windy or there's noise. So it's like I need a speaker that's louder so I can really hear that music. So I got it out, and it's like, here's another quirk of mine. When I'm outside, I like music. I like music when I'm like sitting outside on the patio. I want music to be playing. However, I don't like it playing from my phone because I'm usually playing on my phone. I'm looking at Twitter, Facebook, or reading something. And for some reason, I don't like the sounds coming from the same thing I'm reading. Does that make any sense? I don't know. It's just a quirk. And it's like, but if I have the speaker over here on my little table stand next to my chair and the music's playing from there and there's no loud noises coming from my phone, I can concentrate on whatever I'm doing on my phone. So I got that out, hip hop barbecue. And actually what my wife had gone to the grocery store, and I had the first channel I had on was the hits of 2001 because it took me back to my college days. And my wife gets home and it's like Avril Lavigne, and she comes into the kitchen. I have the screen door, the screen there. And she's like, I'm sure Frank is enjoying Avril Lavigne blaring in the backyard. And I'm like, Frank can't hear. Frank can't hear my music. And I'm like, hey, at least it's Avril Lavigne and Matchbox 20 and not Ja Rule and DMX. Because it is, hits of 2001, which right after Avril Lavigne and something else played, then all of a sudden Trick Daddy and Nelly came on back to back. So we were sitting and we had dinner, we had burgers, and by the way, I've said this before, honey mustard on a burger, Sweet Baby Ray's honey mustard, holy moly, delicious. I didn't even put ketchup on my burger, simply honey mustard. And I used like a dry seasoning. It's like a black and blue cheese. I don't know. I think it was in my stocking for Christmas. So I use that in my burger. And then I always put a lot of pepper in my burger. So anyway, we had that. And we're going over plans for the house and how we met with our designer on Friday and kind of, shared ideas back and forth. What can we do? So my wife was working on that. So I'm loving the way the basement is coming together. So I'll share the first steps on the card room, and I can't wait because I'm going to do a video series on the whole building of the empire, the 1 million Cubs empire. Because it's gonna flow really nicely. So we close on the house in December, and then work starts in January, and then should like July 17th, 2023. I'll be coming to you live from the new house. Actually, probably by the end of June of next year. So let's get to the chat before we go on. Ken, what is up? Good morning. Pulled some good stuff from the dollar boxes at a local card shop yesterday, taking eBay picks. Now that's awesome. Yesterday I was shipping, no listing yesterday. I was shipping. And it got to be like 1:00, and there was a card show in Oconomowoc, which is one of those fun Wisconsin cities to say. And the uniqueness of the Oconomowoc show is that its hours are different. It's a little later, 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. And I thought, it's maybe an hour. It's probably an hour drive for me. Maybe, probably an hour drive, hour 15. I'm like, I could run over there, but it's like, I've got more shipping to do. I just kind of want to take a card show break. I've got the Madison card show next weekend, Saturday, July 23rd at the Sheraton Hotel on John Nolan Drive, 120 tables. I think I have a couple. I do need to follow up with a couple regulars and a couple people that reserved early, just to make sure everyone's in for next Saturday. But I think I do have a couple tables still available. But there'll be 120 tables at next Saturday's show. So I thought, maybe I'll go to Oconomowoc, and then I've got enough to do that I shouldn't be. I've got enough inventory still to list. I don't need to be picking up more, although it's a lot of fun. Porter received some awesome mail days from Mark Hoyle and our guy Brian, Bear Cards 34 on YouTube. We've got some fun videos forthcoming. Jules drops today. Awesome. Hoyle drops today, not Jewel. The cafe at my company's main campus. Odd auto fill in there. Cooter, what is up? Good morning to you. Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce is excellent. I'm a big fan. Let's see. Ken just made an eBay sale. Very nice. The 5 O's, Oconomowoc. Bearded Bookworm, what is up? Just about have 59 listings finished on File Exchange. Excellent. Love it. Craig, good traffic yesterday at the Oconomowoc show. Awesome. I really considered going over there, but decided I should probably be productive at home. I still, even shipping all day yesterday, I still have over 100 items to get out today. John, what's up? That 70s card show in the house. So the new house card room, it's what there's a lot of things that I like about the layout of this house, but one of the biggest selling points for me, not that it matters, is there's a staircase straight from the garage into the basement. So you come down from the garage down the basement stairs, and there's going to be to the left, there's going to be a large unfinished area, and that's going to be basically my back stock. That's going to be Shelves like you see behind me of unsorted cards. When I buy a pallet of cards from Goodwill, I'll just haul all that stuff straight into the basement, into the back stock area. That's where it's going to be. When you come in down the stairs and take a right, there's going to be a room, two rooms, probably a room probably about this size, maybe a little bit bigger, and that's going to be basically the eBay store. That'll be where all of the inventory, all of my store inventory, box 1, box 2, so on and so forth. That's where all the inventory, that'll be the shipping station. That'll likely be where I record these videos. There's going to be a plug-in for the Ethernet, so we won't have funky Wi-Fi issues every morning. So that'll be basically the eBay store, all of the inventory, because right now it's like, I have limited space here. So my eBay inventory is like here and here. And then the rest of the room is just my cards, and in the closet completely filled. And then in the unfinished area, more stuff. And then off of the eBay store room will be the office, which will overlook the backyard. I think I'll have one window that looks over the patio, and then the other windows look out the backyard. And that'll be my office, which is what I use. So my upstairs office here is basically just listing. Like all I need is a desk and a spot to put my cards that I'm listing, and my Fujitsu 7030 scanner. So that's going to be the office. And then there's going to be a rec room and all that. Frank's room, there's going to be 2 bedrooms down there. Maybe Frank can move in and be downstairs. No baby room. Our dog might get a room. No baby room. Let's see. John says, "Oh, thanks, Zach. I'll be home someday." John, I also owe Victor a package. I owe John a package. Hopefully I can get that stuff out this week. Leo says, in descriptions, simply put a generic shipping info and see pics for actual condition, sold as is. Leo says, I meant future free labor card sorter, right? Cooter says the key will be to be very deliberate organizing on the move in. Yes, absolutely. Otherwise, life will get in the way and you will never catch up. And I think that should be pretty, I'm not going to say easy, but I think that won't be an issue. Likely what I'll do, we will hire, the movers will move most of these cards, with the exception of like my good Cubs cards, and my eBay inventory. So, because I'll probably move in the eBay store inventory ahead of the rest of the move in. Just, I don't know, kind of depends, or maybe afterwards, I don't know. But a bulk of the cards will be moved by the movers. So that has a spot, and that'll be, it'll be easy for the movers. So they just, our designer made a great point, and I should maybe I'll do a short video on it. And I'm trying to think of what exactly the quote was. But it was your workspaces, how in the hell did that saying go? I can't think of it. Your workspaces should not multitask. That's what it was. Your workspaces should not multitask. And I thought about that, and it's very true, because once you're multitasking the space you use, it's a freaking giant mess. And I'm learning that, like, as I've started to organize this a little more, and I have space now in the unfinished area, which is actually, once we in our unfinished area over here, actually, now that it's organized, I've got space, and that's kind of my back stock. Like when I bring in, my last Goodwill pallet, that was organized like it is now. So I can bring in unsorted stuff, and I still have unsorted I still have stuff from the last Goodwill pallet I haven't gone through, and that was almost 6 weeks ago. That collection I bought for $300 down at the Rockford Card Show 2 months ago. Still, and actually I've been I went through a few boxes yesterday. So that's what I'm kind of using it for. And so that space is dedicated only for unsorted stuff, cards. Now, in what I'll have in the new house that I don't have here is a spot for like my inventory and other unsorted stuff. And so I guess there's going to be in the back stock room, there'll be like unsorted cards, like new stuff, and then the rest. So it's kind of, I guess it will multitask in a way, but I'll make sure to designate, okay, this spot is, as soon as I bring in Goodwill stuff, it's going over here. The rest is kind of like what you see behind me. I've got to figure out something, with the Cubs, where to put Cubs cards. So I've got a few months to figure that stuff out. Leo says needs to be separate from home space. Absolutely. And that's one thing I'm lacking here is I don't have space for sorting. And, I did have a sorting table, basically a card table in this room right behind me. It's the Bowman wall now. And that's where I would sort. But what would happen is I run out of space and I just run out of time and I put stuff on the table and then all of a sudden it gets cluttered. So I don't have any space to sort. Now I really don't have any space to sort just because I keep bringing in more and more inventory. So I, like right now, like today, I've got my rec room floor is filled with cards because I was sorting some boxes yesterday. So it's spilling into, like Leo said, my home space. My rec room is, ideally I don't want to use my rec room to have a big sorting job where there's, boxes and it's probably, I'm assuming this week I'll get another pallet of cards, and it's my living room is going to be, or my rec room is going to be, filled with cards and shite. So at least I'll have more space dedicated to do some of those things. Let's see. John says, what if you do your best work in a bedroom? Asking for a friend. TD Sports Cards in the house. What is up? Cooter says you will need to do a pre and post Cub card count to ensure integrity of movers. We don't want an asterisk next to your record. Sounds like Cooter's volunteering. So Cooter, come on out. I think Jenny's already volunteered to count Cubs. John, come on out and be my Cubs counters. DR says, morning all, went to see Where the Crawdads Sing last night, and it was a very cool movie. Is there like something going on with Where the Crawdads Sing? Like, is the author like arrested? There's something going on with, and I didn't realize. Odd. Or is it one of those Blair Witch Project things where it's just trying to drum up news for Where the Crawdads Sing? I thought there was some like Where the Crawdads Sing. Okay, we got movie times. Oh, so the author of Where the Crawdads Sing is wanted for questioning in a real-life killing. Ooh, interesting. I may have to read up on that. And I don't even know what the movie's about, Where the Crawdads Sing, but I have seen headlines of the author. Wife's closet space equals Cubs room. Problem solved. That ain't happening. So what else went on? That's about all I did yesterday. I didn't do it. I actually considered making a Walmart run to see what cards they had. I do know Ryan, ripping one-handed, made some retail runs on Friday and said everything was pretty much wiped out. But what I'm looking for, Bowman, I do want to get to 50 boxes. I can buy them. I think Walmart.com still has them on their website. I could buy them, but it's more fun to just go to the store, and it gets me out of the house. But I made a post office run yesterday, and I was going to run to Walmart, and it's like, no, I'm just going to go back home, take the dog for a walk, and do more shipping. So that's what I did. Bearded Bookworm says, how much inventory is too much? There's never too much, in my opinion. At what point is taking new inventory not worth it when there's so much unlisted? That is a great question, though. That is a great question because the unlisted inventory is just stale inventory, and if there's an investment, and that's actually why I really got motivated to start selling a lot of low end cards. That's basically the reason why I am where I am today, selling cards full time, because I kept buying and buying and buying, and I basically would get to break even, and I'm like, I got to break even, I'm good, and I have 2.5, 3 million cards that are just sitting, and it's like, well, I'll do something with it someday, and it's like I didn't have time. And then the pandemic hit, and all of a sudden I had a lot of time. And it's like my wife always said, how come you have more packages coming in than going out? And you keep buying and buying and buying. It's like, okay. And I started selling some stuff. And then I realized, hey, some of this in I think much of it had to do with the boom with, collectors like Zach, who came back in. Hey, I want some of those 80s and 90s cards. And so all of a sudden there was a market once again for those types of cards, and mine began to sell, and they continue to sell even to this day. This morning I probably made, let's just quick over to my eBay store and see, let's see the overnight sales. Let's see. We'll go 90s or 80s. 80s or 90s. 1986, Pete Rose, card number 7, sold for $150. 1996 Topps Rookie Gold Cup Chipper Jones. Let's see. Somebody came in and bought, and this is like my goal. It's not to card for $1.50, but it's this order was 3 cards for $4.50. Roger Clemens Commons. A 2002 Topps, a 1992 Topps, and a 1995 Topps Roger Clemens, each sold for $1.50, a $4.50 sale. So that's kind of the goal, and that's why I want to have volume. So excuse me, back to Bearded Bookworm. How much is too much? There's really not. I don't have an answer for that. But a lot of my inventory is like, I get it at such a low cost that I do get to a profit margin fast. But, I bought those dime boxes, and sometimes this is easier than other times, and it depends on what my purchase is. So the Janesville card show, which was 2 weeks ago, I've nearly gone through 7,000 cards, and I've probably listed 2,000. Most of, probably 4 or 5,000 will be in my quarter boxes. And I probably list, probably when it's all said and done, I'll have 3,000 of the 7,000 listed, 4,000 go in a quarter box. And I got those for $0.01 a piece. And I've probably already made a profit on those 2 4-row boxes that were, cost me $50 each. So about $0.01, $0.015 a card. And there was a lot of Cubs in those as well. So, in some cases it's easy. Like in that case, it was easy in those cards were likely those Roger Clemens cards came out of those dime boxes. So it's easier, and that's why I like older stuff, because the modern stuff, especially if it's Panini, they don't scan well through the Fujitsu scanner. And I mentioned this the other day. I went on a soapbox about the paper on Panini. It really sucks for those scanners. Doesn't scan well. Just sold another 2-card transaction that included a 1993 Bowman Manny Ramirez. So those cards from the 80s and 90s are moving. What was I saying? I can't remember. But the Panini cards don't scan well. So, I'm sitting on a lot of, Panini Prism and Mosaic. And I think I'm just going to, whenever I come across those cards, they're just going to go in my quarter boxes. Unless it's a star color that I know I can, if I take a picture on my phone, and I know it might sell. So I know that's not really an answer to the question. It does kind of vary based on what I have, And it also depends on, if new inventory comes up that's, too hard to, a Goodwill pallet comes up for 400, 500 bucks. I'm going to buy it no matter if I just bought a collection because I know, it's likely going to be well worth my time and money. But like yesterday, I've got enough listing and shipping to do. Do I make a special trip to Oconomowoc, spend half my day digging through bargain boxes when I already have enough? Then it's not really worth it. But if I'm set up as a dealer, the Madison Card Show is next Saturday. I'll be walking around looking through bargain boxes. Next month, the Rockford Show, same, August 13th in Rockford. But am I going to make a special trip to Oconomowoc or Oak Creek or Schaumburg? Not likely unless, I've got the time and I need the inventory. Cooter says, John and Jenny, there's the invite we have been waiting for. At 1 second per card, we can hang at Bo's house for 2 weeks. I'm very sure he meant a different John. No, I meant that 70s card show, John. You've been elected to count Cubs. TD says, I'm at that place, Bookworm. I got stacks of boxes all over my living room. Let's see. Bearded Bookworm says, my wife loved Where the Crawdads Sing book. Lowroller Scratcher says, you have 2 to 3 million cards. You have unlimited supply. Sell your eBay store the rest of your life. But a lot of it's unsellable inventory, like, 88 Donruss Mike Witt. I'm not going to put that in my eBay store. Let's see. Zach is out. Catch you later. Thanks, Zach. DR says, my last 5 sold. Deion Sanders, Mike Vick, Clint Frazier, and Bobby Dalbeck, all low dollar sales. Let's see. Let's go. Last 5 player sales. Last 5 player sales in my eBay store. Let's see. Chipper Jones, Manny Ramirez, Tim Duncan, Clayton Kershaw, and Darryl Strawberry. And let's just for kicks, we'll go the next 5. Frank Mazzucato, Kobe Bryant, Marco Luciano, Jimmy Rollins, and Pete Rose. So that last 10 player sales. Let's see. What's up, Ed? Good morning. My Cooperstown update. I am going to try and line up a personal collection visit for purchase instead of heading to that Hall of Fame induction weekend card show. Very nice. So, topic of the day. Low Roller says you can put it, pick your cards, those common cards in your eBay store. No, it's just not worth the time. Like $88. Like it's not, nobody's going to spend $1.50 on an 88 Donruss Mike Witt. Actually, somebody might. But once you do it in volume, you get lucky here and there with commons that sell. And I do know commons sell for $1.50 on eBay. But out of 1,000 common cards, you might only sell 4 or 5. And, you just wasted time listing 995 commons. I spent, because I used a stock photo of the 81 Topps football and 86 Topps football. I bet, and I listed probably 600, and this has been 2 weeks now. I bet I've only sold 10, 15, maybe 20 max of those cards. It was kind of a test to see, okay, will this work? And it really didn't. So I'm not gonna waste time. I will pick based on what I know, and I'm always testing out new. Like, okay, this guy was a fan favorite. I'm gonna try it out and see. John says make an offer, Low Roller. There you go. I've got a lot of bulk. You can buy my bulk and start your own eBay store. So yeah. So eBay descriptions. I saw a tweet this morning. Somebody had a negative experience. Got curious. I'm all curious when people say without like disclosing. I've been on eBay for 20 years and I've got a perfect feedback score, and it's like 17 or 117. So it's an eBay disclaimer on card sales as a result of first negative feedback in over 20 years. And it's just this long, like 3 paragraphs, a lot of typos. And he replied, thanks on all the typos. And it's, here's the disclaimer. This card is as pictured. Any major flaws are noted. There are no claims that this card is perfect, clean, gem mint, or mint with regards to the centering, corners, edges, or surface, or any combination thereof. If you need more detailed photos, please ask before bidding or purchasing. If you believe every card pulled from a pack or bought off of eBay should be gem mint, do not bid or buy on this card. And there's a lot of these words that are all caps. I am not a professional card grader, and odds are you aren't either. Sorry, but not sorry for the strong disclaimer, but recently received first negative feedback in 20 plus years selling on eBay over a 99-cent card that a buyer deemed wasn't gem mint when no such claims were made at sale. As a lot of sellers painfully know, eBay offers little or no support to us long-time and reputable sellers, and I'm disgusted by it. So if you are the type of buyer who returns cards, swaps cards upon return, threatens or leaves negative feedback over such issues, do not bid on my items. Now, a lot of that is unnecessary. Actually, it's all unnecessary because if the next card that this seller sells and the buyer claims it wasn't as described because there was a damage to a corner, eBay's going to side with the buyer and you're going to get negative feedback. In fact, a disclaimer like this, I look at this and I laugh. And it's like, dude, all of the typos just scream he's pissed off. And he's just typing fast because he's angry, and it shows in these 2 paragraphs, and it makes him look petty as a seller. And typing out disclaimers like this, card condition is subjective, and conditions are subjective, and there's no that's just a blanket statement for every card in his inventory. So if a card does have like a corner ding, yeah, he says it's not gem mint, but it's still like there's a corner ding and it wasn't disclosed in that particular listing. And a buyer's going to say, hey, this has a corner ding. And they're going to open up an item not described, and eBay's going to side with the buyer, and they're going to get refunded, and they might leave you another negative feedback. And there's a lot of petty buyers out there that are going to see this disclaimer and be like, well, F you, guy. He's basically calling out buyers. I am not a professional card grader, and odds are you aren't either. Well, probably, but that's kind of a shitty thing to say, especially when you're trying to conduct business as a seller. So that's going to leave you open to a-holes, because there are a-holes that are going to see this on Twitter or on eBay, and they're going to say, screw you. I'm going to pull one over on you. I'm going to give you your second negative feedback. And there are a-holes out there that do stuff like that. So if you were the type of buyer who returns cards, swaps cards, or threatens or leaves negative feedback, do not bid on my items. And that's like an invitation for these a-holes to be like, screw you, guy. I'm going to bid on your items and leave you a negative feedback just because I think you're petty. And the person that does that is also petty. So eBay's not gonna, you can type a disclaimer all you want, and there's two things with these long descriptions, these disclaimers. Number one, buyers don't read that. I mean, how often if there's in a lot of like the vintage cards that I put up, say it's a 50s cards that's in the quarter box and there's a crease, I just type crease in the title, because if you put it in the item description, nobody reads the item description. The only time I read, because you know why I say that, and I shouldn't say nobody, because people do. Most people don't read item descriptions. And do you know why I know that? Because I don't read item descriptions. And I assume there's many people just like me. And I actually, as a fact, I know that as a volume seller, that most people don't read item descriptions. And that's okay. Well, it's not, but it is. And, I put, this card, this 1958 Topps Bubba Phillips has a crease on it. If I just put that in the item description, chances are I'm going to have somebody that's going to be upset because they didn't read the item description. They didn't look closely enough at the photo to see the crease, and they're going to get the card and it's going to be a crease, and they're going to be pissed off, and they're going to message me and they're going to say, hey, this is a crease. You couldn't see it in the photo. Well, it's disclosed in the description. Well, it's not in the photo. And that's what I hate about, that's one thing that I dislike about eBay is it's like open to interpretation, the descriptions and the photos. You can clearly show the photo, there's a crease in it, but the buyer can then say, well, it's not disclosed in the item description. Vice versa. If maybe the angle didn't get it right and you can't clearly see the crease, but it's not in the photo. I didn't read the description. It's in the photo. And eBay is going to side with the buyer in both of those instances. So before I move on, let's go back into the chat. Bearded Bookworm says, my last 5, Hakeem Olajuwon, Mookie Betts, Tony Parker, Tim Duncan, Mickey Mantle, Derrick Rose. Very nice. DR says, this is a large collection locally that I bought about 5% of back in February. It's a young man who I stopped from getting ripped off at the card store when his dad passed. Ah, nice. Well, not about his dad passing, but about the not getting ripped off. I taught him how to sell on eBay, and we came up with the idea to buy the collection in chunks when he's home from college. It has been a great experience helping him teach about his dad's collection. That's cool. That's very nice. Safe at Home Sports Card says, never encourage buyers to shop elsewhere in a post that everyone can see. Nailed it. Ed nailed it, because I see this and I'm not following this guy and he's not following me. But if I knew his eBay, I wouldn't choose to buy. It's when I see like the posts, like people say, I can't remember. There was a post that was making its way around Twitter. And I think it was like about Pelican cases or something like that. And, or no, it was about comps. It was about comps. And they're like, if you're going to throw comps at me, don't even come to my table. And it's like, I'm not going to throw comps at people because I buy bargain cards. So there's no reason to. But if I see a sign like that, I'm walking away. I'm not even going to give that dealer the time of day because I think it's BS. And so Ed nailed it. Don't encourage buyers to shop elsewhere. And it's like, be professional. And this post, that eBay disclaimer lacks a lot of professionalism. And John says, confess description reader. And that's why I backstep, John, because I assume that you are an item description reader. And that is exactly why I backstepped and said, not almost. Because I did assume that you might be a description reader. The only descriptions I read are on breaks because I want to make sure, and I will double or triple read. It's probably not in the right wording, but I will read 2 or 3 times an item description on a break just to make triple certain that I'm receiving all cards in that particular break. And that's and I like buy into an eBay break once a year, maybe twice a year. So, and that's like the only time I read an item description. Actually, if I am shopping for like a raw tobacco card, usually the first thing I do is I look at their feedback score, and just kind of look at their other items just to make sure it's legit. And then I'll read the description to make sure, if there's any wording, if it's a tobacco card, if there's any wording about, I can't confirm this is authentic, I move on. But in those instances, breaks and tobacco cards, that's when I do read item descriptions. If I'm just buying like a Bowman Chrome auto of some Cubs prospect, I'm just clicking buy, put an offer, or buy it now. I don't even look at the description. And there's one. Oh yeah. And one other, if I want to buy multiple cards, I want to see if they charge for shipping, and I want multiple cards, I want to see what their shipping discounts are. If there are shipping discounts. So Cooter says, I could care less about disclaimers, only care about combined shipping policy and total feedback number of the seller. I'm very cautious of rookie sellers. Same here. you know, and that's kind of where, you know, troubles could come up. That's where you buy like a slab and they send it in a PWE. I didn't know any better. I'm a new seller. The break says I read descriptions of cards also, though usually it doesn't describe anything. That's true. Most, and again, I won't say all, most item descriptions are a copy paste. And when I do read, and maybe I get annoyed because I read descriptions so, uh, few and far between. When I do, like, I want to read, like, on this particular card, I want to know, say it's a tobacco card and it's just a generic copy and paste like this tweet here. Um, this says nothing about the card I want. Say this is a 1955 Topps Ernie Banks card. Well, I know it's not going to be gem mint or mint. Well, I guess it could be. But this says nothing about the particular card that, this says nothing. This just basically says this guy's calling me out for not being a grader and threatening me, and wanting me to do business elsewhere if I don't like, what he's trying to sell me. It says nothing. It says nothing about and that's why eBay's going to side with the buyer every single time on these generic disclaimers, because it says nothing about the item at hand. It's just a generic, I'm pissed off because I got a negative feedback, and hey, there's nothing wrong with that. Every negative feedback I receive, I get pissed off too. It's just basic human behavior. Sometimes they're warranted, I'll admit. And I go through my negative feedback and I'm completely transparent about it. And there's some where it's like, okay, this person has a legit beef. And usually when I reach out, there's no communication on their end. It's like, hey, I'm sorry, how can we fix this? And usually it goes, ignored, not responded to, or whatnot. But some are legit, like, hey, this card was damaged, or this, and it's like, ooh, yeah, you're right. But it's like there's no communication ahead of time. And it's just like, I'm just going to leave them a negative feedback. But it was a negative experience, and I get it. So it's legit. Sometimes it's like people just sometimes it's feedback is defaulted. So you may have had a terrible experience with a seller and left a negative feedback, and then it's defaulted for the next time you leave a feedback, and you type in, awesome, thanks for the card, negative. And it's like, hey, what are you doing? And usually I see that and I reach out, and they're like, oh, I reach out and they say, oh, I'm so sorry, the last person, it was defaulted, and then they change it. And other cases it's just completely, and sometimes eBay will change it, sometimes they won't. So that's that can be annoying. So I get being upset with a negative feedback, but don't go on this 3-paragraph diatribe, basically putting down your customer base and potential customer base. Let's see. Bearded Bookworm says, wait, is posting that on Twitter hurting my business? Just kidding. Let's see. Leo says, one of my friend had sold a $60 rookie card with slight condition issue. Buyer filed a claim, and it was listed in the description and in the pics. And that's annoying as hell. And it does happen. Like, there's nothing stopping that from happening. Hopefully eBay stepped in that case and was like, yeah, okay, this seller disclosed it in the description. It was clearly pictured in the photos. And we're going to side with the seller. Sorry, buyer. Hopefully that's, okay. Leo followed up. eBay sided with the buyer. Oh, that sucks. eBay sided with the buyer. So he threatened to quit selling, and eBay, as a courtesy, gave him his money back too. And eBay does, on occasion, they will basically eat. In some instances, I've experienced this from like an item that was marked delivered. And this actually predates standard envelope, but the item was delivered, but the customer said, hey, I didn't get this. And it's like, okay, let's just open a claim. And I've got the buyer was refunded. but it didn't come out of me. Like eBay paid the refund, not me. It didn't come out of my account. Let's see. The break says I've had buyers send me messages with their phone number trying to make the deal on a card off the eBay site. That's fairly common. Not fairly common, but it does happen. And be careful in how you respond to those messages, because eBay they have software that tracks messages. And so if there's even wording that is close to you potentially doing this deal off eBay, they will flag you. So if you do get those messages, be careful in how you respond. Typically I ignore them because I'm not going to do a deal off eBay. Because eBay takes that really seriously and will suspend your account. That's number one. But number two, I like everything flowing through eBay because I hate paperwork and I hate, accounting for all this. And it's much easier to have it all done through eBay, and eBay does all the work for you. And then you just at the end of the month print your statement out and boom, it's all there. But then once you have to, you go off eBay and now you have to track it through PayPal or Venmo or whatever service. And I don't like that. That's why I think the eBay fees are well worth it, because they do a lot of the tedious work that, I don't have to do. I don't have to track all this in a spreadsheet or track it, because eBay just does it all for me. And that is extremely valuable. Let's see. John says you were on fire during Hobby Hotline the other day. And John, John is referring to yesterday's Hobby Hotline episode. The topic was brought up about Thursday night's GoGTS. I was actually going to talk about that this morning, but I haven't watched the video. So I feel I mentioned my opinions in the chat yesterday, but I don't feel comfortable speaking out on video until I actually, I know the backyard break story. And I've seen the videos, but I don't know the GoGTS, what happened on Thursday night. Just other than what I read. Somebody actually brought it up here in the chat on Friday morning, and I had no idea what had went on. And then it was brought up on Hobby Hotline yesterday morning. But from what and again, I'll go a little bit into it, but I don't want to really get on my soapbox until I watch the video, to form a true opinion. But from what was stated on Hobby Hotline yesterday, it was basically GoGTS gives away, and I don't watch it regularly, but I have watched it. They basically they open products and they give away the cards, like at the end of the stream or whatever it is. And so they pulled a big card and they kind of backstepped, like, oh, we can't just give this away now. And again, I haven't watched the video, so I'm not gonna say one thing or the other. But basically they put it to a poll, and there was a lot of people upset in the chat, and they're like, oh, we'll give this away to charity. And I have some strong opinions on this, because it was almost like everybody was siding with GoGTS and, oh, this is the right thing to do. Well, are those opinions because you're buddies with Rob and Signatures for Soldiers and I shouldn't even bring them up because they're completely not involved with it. But if Backyard Breakers, it's a very similar situation. Backyard, there was a lot of misinformation, and I think that's what I was upset most about. Was there was a lot of misinformation regarding the Backyard Breaks incident. It wasn't a paid for spot. Like, they didn't take that Trevor Lawrence gold kaboom out of the Jaguar spot. It wasn't people that paid into the break. It was a completely free giveaway for their new Twitch followers. So there was a lot of misinformation, and that kind of fired me up. It's like, okay, wait. This is completely false. This is not how that situation went. And I hate defending the Backyard Break situation, because I think that was a complete BS. That was a complete BS move. But hey, let's not have a double standard because we know these guys and we don't know these guys, and these guys don't dress like us, and I think that's kind of We don't like the Backyard Breakers because they're loud, obnoxious, and they dress funny. But Rob looks like us, and we know Rob. And I think there's some double standard going on with opinions on those two situations. And I think they're both situations are wrong. And again, I haven't watched the GoGTS. I do need to watch the GoGTS before I state one thing or the other. But yes, I was fired up in the chat yesterday because I just wait. These situations are really, it's not apples and oranges at all. These two situations are very close to one another. So that was the hobby hotline. Let's see where we at. Herman's with us. Good morning, Hobby World. Just got cell service back. Bearded Bookworm asks, do you put little to no item specifics? I do. And I do so knowing that 5 minutes ago I'm saying this is a completely generic item description. Guess what I do? A completely generic item description. For many reasons. Most people don't read item descriptions, and even if you do, there's an out. Don't even waste time on item descriptions. Why? Because now, unless there's clear damage, okay, every situation is different. If I have a $100 Bowman Chrome Auto, pick your prospect, and there's a small little scratch, I know, if it's a 1983 Topps Pete Rose, it's not going to be scratched. There might be corner dings, but it's, people aren't, most of the time, they're not looking for a gem mint copy of a 1983 Topps Pete Rose. If there's any major flaws, if there's a corner really dinged or if there's a crease, usually I won't even list it. But if I do, I just throw that in the title because people hopefully read the title. So I put my item description says, I think it's basically 2 sentences. It says it's shipped PWE, just to make sure people know whether they read it or not. It's shipped plain white envelope. And guess what? I still receive feedback that says, nice card, but shipped in a plain white envelope. Well, no SHIT. You paid $1.50 shipped for this card, and it says in the description, shipped PWE. What the hell did you expect? So that's why I don't even waste my time with item descriptions. But my item description basically says, buy 7 or more cards and get 25% off at checkout, shipped PWE. And I think that's about it. I don't even know what my item description says. It's copy and pasted when I do file exchange. DR says that disclaimer is the perfect example of the seller wanting to pick up his or her ball before the game even started. It is. It's very it's a very irrational, emotional decision. And you can kind of tell by, okay, it's not concise. It's long and drawn out. There's a ton of typos because they're probably punching their keyboard, typing this out. And it's just a rash decision. It's very emotional. Cooter says, if I have an issue, I will always contact the seller first. How they handle issues can actually lead to awesome feedback. Unfortunately, some people use feedback as a weapon. That's very true. That is very true. DR says, how would you describe your social confidence from the first Madison card show through the next one? Did it feel weird at the beginning and now you were like a pitcher at home on the mound? Oh, that's a good question. I'll circle back to that. And I promise I think I said that the other day to somebody and I didn't circle back. But I do like that question. eBay's got to get their cut. Leo says that happened to me once item tracking showing is delivered. eBay ruled in my favor. Many months later, package returned to me as unclaimed in his mailbox. Interesting. The break says, should you check the no returns box when you list a card or no? Okay. And here's another one. I would not. And here's why. Because that can still be even if you click no returns, it can be returned. In some cases, you as the seller have to approve it, but in other cases, the buyer can take a step up to eBay and eBay will force a return. eBay can force returns. That also helps the algorithm. That's like the buzzword of 2021 and 2022, algorithms. if you have returns, that's like one of the pluses that eBay gives you to show up higher in search results. So I say returns are accepted because eBay can force them anyway. Still, if it was a giveaway, the Kaboom should have been gave away. Yeah, and I'm not defending their decision. It absolute backyard breaks, absolutely. They made the wrong decision. They also went about it a completely wrong way. I'm not defending them at all. But let's call a spade a spade. What they did was wrong, but from what again, I haven't seen the video from GoGTS on Thursday, but from how it was explained from Logan on the Hobby Hotline panel, it was a very similar situation. And I think both are wrong. Let's see. Cooter says all they need to do is state we will give away every card with a value of less than, then stick to it. And that's exactly like if you're giving something away, give it away. If you like, and what did we like? I'm just shocked that this happened. Like, I am completely shocked by GoGTS. I've never heard a bad thing about, that show, the guys that are involved with it. I'm just completely mind blown that just months after the backyard breaks thing, that it's a backstep situation. Like Cooter says, if you're going to give away, give it away. If you're going to think about it, like, what if I pull a $20,000 card, a $10,000 card, and I even think about not giving it away? Disclose it. We're going to give this away unless it's a $10,000 card or higher. Now, how do you figure out what? Just look at the last comp. Is it even close to 10,000? I'm sorry, but this falls under the we're not going to give it away section. Like, if you're going to even take a sidestep and backstep, disclose. It should be fully disclosed, because now you've got a black eye on how you conduct your show, and you're not a man of your word when you backstep like that. Be a man or woman of your word. And I don't care if it's going to this charity or that charity. Like, and that's another thing I brought up. It's like, everyone's caught up. Oh, look at me. I gave all this to this charity or that charity. It's all for vanity. Like, it's more noble to give to charity and not have to announce it to the world and go to Twitter, like go to the Boys and Girls Club, take a photo with everybody and say, hey, look at us. We gave to charity. We're good. Like, come on, just do it. Craig meant the word integrity. Absolutely. Have some integrity. Totally agree. Okay, Dan, I promise I will get back to Dan's comment. Jeremy's with us. What is up, Jeremy? Oh, Jeremy, by the way, Jeremy's going to love this. I sold a card yesterday to somebody by the name of Joe Mauer that lives in St. Paul, Minnesota. And I'm like, Joe Mauer? St. Paul, Minnesota? So I Googled the address. Of course, I'm not going to say the address, but I Googled the address, and it was a very nice house that a former Major League All-Star probably would live in. So Joe Mauer, he's got a card coming his way from my eBay store. And it was a $2 card. It was a $2 card to Joe Mauer. How cool is that? Shaka's Closet says multiple pictures and descriptions definitely help. I hate relics in PWE. 99% of their time they're creased. I haven't had 99% because I've on occasion, and I specifically say, like, this is going to be sent. If it's a $2 relic, it's going to be sent PWE. Because I'm not going to spend $6 for a $1 relic. So it's like, take your chances on this being shipped PWE. And I get about, I'd say 50% of the relics that I send PWE, probably 50%, maybe a little less, because I have been doing it a little more and I've had less issues. But I don't like to do it if it's, if it's anything, if it's a decent, superstar, or, if it's like above $5, I'll eat that. And, but if it's like a Topps Heritage white swatch of Sorry, Cooter, Brandon Crawford. It's probably going in the eBay store for $2, and it's going to be shipped PWE, and hopefully it doesn't get creased. Lowroller says, do you ever think selling digital cards on eBay? I think you've asked me that before. No, it's just not something I would be interested in doing. Bearded Bookworm says, like, did they incorrectly weigh the pack or something? The back pedal is baffling. Not sure on that. Is there any accountability about the card going to charity? You know, and that's, you know, one of the things was people were upset. People were upset that that it was going to, like, well, they're going to give it to charity. It's not like, I'm not upset that they're giving it to charity. I'm upset that you said one thing and you did another. Like that just, you know, it's like, don't do that, whether it's for good or not. Like, do what you say you're going to do. Like, that's my thing. That's my thing. It's a crappy situation, but I thought we learned something from the backyard breaks incident, that this wouldn't happen again. And I think that's what's just baffling to me. How can this happen after all of the outrage that the whole backyard breaks incident created? And here we are again. I just don't get it. DR says, watch Ziggy Knows video about it because he says he was the one who started it in the chat. I will watch that. Shaka's Closet says, awesome. Mr. Corpse Killer, what is up? Good morning to you. The Break says, damn, tell Joe I have a couple of his rookie cards, game used bat relics. You know, he didn't even buy a baseball card. It was a football card that Joe bought. Or Joe. I guess I can't confirm it's the Joe Mauer. But it's a really nice house in St. Paul, Minnesota. So it could be the Joe Mauer. And I made sure to slip in the Madison Card Show business card. Like, hey, Joe, if you're in the area, come out to the Madison Card Show. Let's see. John says, biggest look at me of the last year was Card Collector 2 cheating his customers' cards back from PSA from the Marks fiasco. He had no choice, hailed as a hero for doing what he was supposed to do. I agree. I agree. I sold a card to him like 3 months ago too. Did the same thing. Looked up the house as well. That's awesome. So Joe Mauer in the card game. Mr. Corpse Killer says, I seen the title and had to see if Bo triggered anyone. I'm sure I triggered somebody. The Breaks. Why would you give it to charity but not give it to who actually won it? That's just do what you say you're going to do. And hopefully, now that this has happened twice, like, if you're going to do a giveaway, like, do the giveaway how it was. You know, I know it's a giveaway, like, and it's not the point of, well, it's just a giveaway. They're giving to charity. Like, that's not the point. The point is, if you're going to give it away to this pool of people that are watching tonight, but then decide, oh, sorry, guys, the 20 people or the 100 people that are watching, this is too big for just you guys. We need to make it bigger, and we need to pat ourselves on the back and give this to charity. Like, come on, just give it away. Whether it's a $20 card, a $2 card, or a $20,000 card, do what you're going to say you're going to do. That's my thing. So I'm going to go back to DR's comment where he asks, how would you describe your social confidence from the first Madison Card Show through the next one? Did it feel weird at the beginning and now you were like a pitcher at home on the mound? I think with anything, and I think the big like comparison is always a quarterback in a football game. A rookie quarterback is just like, oh my God, like it's an eye-opening, like, but once you get, a couple seasons, once you become a veteran, the game slows down. And I think a lot of quarterbacks have talked about that publicly where, after you get in a rhythm and the game slows down, like everything slows down. But when something is new, everything's going by you like 200 miles per hour. And I think with anything that you do in, multiple times, that happens. When I worked in broadcast, when I did play-by-play, I remember the first The first college football game I broadcast was at Sam Houston State down in Huntsville, Texas. And I just remember everything went by so flippin' fast. But then by year 3, I basically felt like I could put it on cruise control. Like everything, like I could just, game 1, I'm like tense, like looking at my notes, like everything. I'm like looking in 7 different directions. And by year 3, I'm just having a good time. And and I think, as when you listen to those broadcasts, you could probably tell, like, okay, this guy's, game 1, he's overdoing it. Like, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Huntsville, Texas, Sam Houston State. And, I'm probably trying to sound overly like radio announcer man. And by year 3, it's like me and my broadcast partner, Mark, we're just having a good time. The game's much slower. We're comfortable. We have good chemistry on air, and everything slows down. And with the card show, same thing. That first show, like I had no idea what the hell I was doing. And that first show, I think we had 15 paid. I think we had, actually, it might have been less than that. I think we had 19 total in the room. 2 were my former co-promoter, and then two of mine. It looked cavernous. 5,000 plus square foot room, 17, 18, 19 tables, whatever it was. But still, even then, it was like, what do we do? What do we do? What if this happens? And then now, I'm how many, 16, 17, 18 shows in, 2 floors, 2 ballrooms, plus the mezzanine, 120 tables. There's still a lot of stresses. Herman was with me throughout it in April and knows the stresses that start on Friday and continue through the day on Saturday. But it's like, it's with each month, those stresses are less and less. Like now I just understand that I'm going to get no shows, and I've prevented, I think I've prevented a lot of the new first time sellers. I've charged, up front, like I'll reserve a table for you, but you got to pay. Like people I don't know. Or, some dealers they've never set up at my show, but I know them from other shows, I'll, let that slide. But for somebody I don't know, I've never seen before, I've never heard of, it's like, okay, yeah, to reserve your tables, you're going to have to pay up front. And so I think I've, hopefully prevented some of that from happening, but there's still like regular dealers that, the night before something comes up, and I get it. Things happen. It's annoying when like 8 dealers have things that happen, and 8 out of, how many, 120 tables is probably 75 dealers. I haven't counted, but 8 out of 75 is a pretty high percentage for car troubles and illness, to come up. But hopefully the prepay model is going to work. And, when there's 40 tables, 50 tables, 60 tables, let it slide. But now that, I think April opened my eyes to that, where I had a huge waiting list, and I ended up having like 10 tables empty that, by the time that those were canceled on Friday and Saturday morning, I can't fill those. So not only am I losing out on revenue, dealers are losing out on space that they could have made revenue as a seller. So yes, I think the confidence level every month, it's smoother, easier. You get, there's a lot of intricacies of running a show. I mean, small things that there's no trash cans in the room. And I think that's an issue everywhere. Every show you go to, like, it's just, you can't have a trash can at the end of every aisle. I guess you can, but you don't really see it. So I think, and this is when you get a bunch of people in the room, like here at the house, it's just me and my wife, and I'm cold all the time. That's why it's July and I'm wearing a hoodie because my wife wants it cold. And I go outside and sweat in the sun to warm up. And then when you get, 75 different dealers. Well, it's more than 75 because they may bring a wife or a friend. When you get over 100 people, dealers, it's like, it's too cold in here, it's too hot in here, it's too cold in here, it's too hot in here. And but I get it. There, the downstairs room at times can be really warm. The pool's right next door, so it gets kind of steamy, sticky, humidity, stuffy, I guess is the proper term. So I get it. But it's also a situation where, I think last month one of my dealers was like, man, it was really hot in here. I'm like, actually, it was really comfortable in here. Just wait until July when they have the air conditioner cranked and it's going to be freezing. You're going to want to wear a hoodie in this room. And then downstairs, you're going to want to, take your shirt off. Please don't. So I think every month it gets smoother. Confidence level rises with every month. You run into something new, every show. But with that experience, it helps the confidence. Let's see, where are we at in the chat? Leo says, should have sent Maurer a card with an auto request with self-addressed stamped envelope. See if it comes back. I did not do that. Nobody actually won the card breaks. The difference here is the widely held belief that Backyard Fakes was pulling the card back to sell for their own gain. That's why I have to watch the Thursday night video. It was since there hasn't been, and here we are 3 days later, there hasn't been the fallout that we saw with Backyard Breaks. It likely was handled differently than the Backyard Breaks incident. Again, I can't say for certainty because I haven't watched the video. I'll watch the video and report back. I suppose whomever donates this card will gain from a tax write-off. Collectosaurus Rex finally made a live one. Thanks for jumping on. I'm super late today. I decided to sleep in. Let's see. Shaka's Closet says, my wife freezes me out. John says, hotels like to use tray stands with flat trays for trash. I never get that. Hotels like to use tray stands with flat trays. You see the hobby forgive bad actor after bad actor, and you realize P.T. Barnum had it right about the fools and suckers. I'm glad you're going prepay. If that pisses anyone off, then those are the dealers you need to keep an eye on the most. Nailed it. And guess what? The people, and I've had multiple people like it's prepay, and then they're a ghost. And one, in fact, says, it's put me down for 2 tables. Okay, I'll reserve those tables for you. Here's my PayPal, $80, and they're reserved. And then the follow-up was, I'll have to get back to you next week. Well, wait a second. You wanted to reserve 2 tables. Why are you now going to wait? And so in the promoters, we talk, and I text Mike. I'm like, hey, have you heard of this person? Yeah, they no-showed our last show. Interesting. And guess what? That person never got back to me. Hey, they're welcome to a table or 2 tables, but they're going to have to pay for it. And that's exactly it. You start weeding out, and that's kind of like with at the Cubs convention, Kerry Wood has a fundraiser every year, and it can be a little pricey. And initially, it was like $100, and you got free drinks and food like the whole night. And Cubs, and former Cubs are your bartenders. It's an amazing deal. But it also brought in like a lot of graphers that wanted, even though they were pretty strict on, hey, no autographs, although they let you, if you're discreet enough, they'll allow it. But once they started raising the price, and now I think it's $250 when it went from $100 to $250, guess what? You weed out a lot of those people that just want to come in and freewheel it and get autographs and get a cheap night out. So the prepay is similar, where you weed out those bad actors. Like, okay, you kind of know who's going to be legit and who's not. And now I can, if Mike reaches out to me and they're like, hey, this guy is asking about tables, do you know him? Because we do. Like every time in fact, I think it happened once or twice yesterday. I'm like, hey, have you ever heard of this guy? We don't have any mutuals on Facebook. Mike's never heard of him. And I said prepay, and he paid. So it's, not everybody that reaches out is going to be, but it helps So I'm glad that maybe you won't have to hear me on Sunday morning after every Madison Card Show complain about 10 no-shows. And hopefully it weeds out some of this. Shaka's Closet asks, what video? Going back to what I was talking about earlier, there was on GoGTS, there was a giveaway that was kind of backstepped, and they're going to give it to, I think they created a poll to give it to charity. So it's the most recent GoGTS live from, I believe, Thursday night. So I have not watched it, so I'm going to watch it before I really give my full opinion. I've given my opinion on how it was stated on Hobby Hotline yesterday, and it's like, this sounds very similar to the Backyard Breaks. Now, it was probably handled a little differently. If somebody else can post the video, I don't even know. I actually, this is one of the reasons why I don't watch GoGTS. I always find it difficult to find. It's on Thursday nights, I know that. But it's kind of hard to find links to the actual show. I don't know if they have a YouTube. I'm not sure where I've watched it in the past. I've only watched it a few times. But it's GoGTS Live. Let's GoGTS. Okay, GoGTS Live. July 14th. Okay, so this must be it. It only has 2 likes. That's interesting. I think this is the link. Let's see. Stadium layout are bad for several reasons. Power distribution, up and down steps, etc. Do you think the National Card Show should go after going big giant NFL stadium? They can get a lot of new people and more dealers. No, I don't think so. Kind of basically what John said, but I think, and this is complete bias on my part, but I think there was an article about why the National should stay in one place, and I think it was Chicago, in Rosemont. So it's a quick 2-hour drive for me, so I would love the National to be in Rosemont every single year. But again, that's local bias to me. But even out-of-towners that fly in rave about the Rosemont location. John says only place it would work is St. Louis, where the convention center floor is the same as the TWA floor. Herman says most people watch them on Twitch. That's probably why I have trouble finding them, because I don't know how to do Twitch. I don't know how to do Twitch. So that's what I had for today. I didn't expect to go an hour and 17 minutes, but here we are. So thanks for a great chat. Have a wonderful Sunday. Back at it tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Central. What's the week looking like for me? Shipping and listing and shipping. Next Saturday is the Madison Card Show, Sheraton Hotel on John Nolan Drive. I'm out of coffee. I can't take a drink. Show runs from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. 120 tables, free admission. A lot of if you've been to the show before, I've got a lot of first-time dealers. So I'm excited about that. Let's see. Let's count up. Start talking about waiting and deciding what to do at the 1 hour 52 minute mark. Let's see. So first time dealers. Let's see. I think they've done it before. There's 1, 2. Oh shoot. Do I have Craig down twice? I think so. Oh shoot, I do. So for a fact, I have open tables because I put 3 tables down for the same person twice. Let's see. 1, 2. 1, 2. They've been there before. Oh, there's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 first-time vendors at the Madison Card Show. So I think that, oh, shit. Oh, man. Okay. I think I spreadsheet. Hopefully not. Anyway. I got to get that figured out. Sorry, that is about the GoGTS video. Start talking about waiting and deciding what to do at the 1 hour 52 mark on the GoGTS video. Thank you, Tracy, for that marker. So I think I'll get another cup of coffee. I'll watch that video. Hit the like button if you liked the content. If you didn't like the content, I'm sorry. I'll do better tomorrow. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. Enjoy your Sunday, and we will chat again tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Central. See you then.